What's happening, guys? Welcome along to another episode of 420 News. See everybody out in the audience there. Everybody getting in their hellos already. Marshmallow Girl is out there as well. What's going on, Marshmallow Girl? Just in time, you say. Welcome along, guys. I see Irish Hemp Harvest out there in the audience as well. Teresa's in the audience. Monsieur Fudge. Wooly, what's going on, Wooly? R420 Supplies as well. What's going on, R420? Tuning in live from the store, I'd assume. Hope business is going good, but Mark Andrew Morgan is out in the audience as well, and we've Bogwan Son, John Finnegan, and Podge. What's going on, guys? Welcome along to 420 News, brought to you by Martin's World, and I'm your show host, Martin Condon. Sean Michael Duggan getting in that hello there as well. So, guys, welcome along. It is just a couple of minutes past 4:20, but sure, we will get the bowl packed up anyway, as, yeah, sure, why not? It's always 4:20 somewhere. Always in my heart, anyway. Mark Downey's out there as well. What up, Martin? Free the weed. Yes, free that weed, indeed. Second, I'll just pack myself a bowl. I see Darren O'Reilly out in the audience as well. Welcome to the show, Darren. Boom. Lovely bowl of green packed up there. Right, so I believe that's everybody I've said hello to. Oh, Hype. Hype, what's going on, Hype? Hello. Welcome to the show, Hype. Just in time for a little bit of civil disobedience on the show, and then we'll get stuck into today's headlines. A little civil disobedience there, brought to you by my friend D. Grower. That goes down a treat. Can we join for a live bong? We'll have to set up a Zoom, on sure, definitely. We'll have to get that facilitated, alright, that's for sure. I will, Marshmallow Girl. I'll let Alexis know you said hi. Hope you're doing good, Aaron. Right, let's drive on with the news, so guys. Because the first headline I have for you today is that there was €34,000 worth of cannabis seized in Galway City. This is above in Galway City, where the Gardaí, excuse me. Ooh, bit of a delayed one there. But this is where the Gardaí basically, they made a seizure after targeting a person known to them, believed to be involved in the organised crime gangs operating in the Galway area. It says a multi-agency operation was conducted by personnel attached to Revenue Customs Service, the Garda National Drugs and Organised Crime Bureau, and the Galway Divisional Drugs Unit. The operation resulted in the search of a premises on the warrant in the Headford Road area of Galway City, and during the course of the operation, 1.7 kilos of cannabis herb with an estimated street value of €34,000 was seized. Gardaí arrested a man in his late 30s at the scene, and he was presently detained under Section 4 of the Criminal Justice Drug Trafficking Act. So there you go, guys. 34 grand's worth of cannabis above in County Galway. So just shy of 2 kilos worth of cannabis. Again, number of units of the Gardaí involved in this, again at the expense of the taxpayer. So well done to the Gardaí. Great way of wasting resources. But we stick with Galway then in the news, as a councillor in Galway, a guy who's been on the 420 News before, a feature of the 420 News, Frank Fahey, Councillor Frank Fahey from Galway. You might remember Councillor Frank Fahey about 3 months ago, I believe it was. 3 months ago there in June. He was in the 420 News for this masterpiece. Councillor claims that dealers are using jet skis to bring drugs into Galway. Well, now Councillor Fahey kind of has come out, and he's more or less blaming the public in more ways than one. And saying that the guards are doing an exemplary job as well. You know, he couldn't thank the guards enough or praise them more. But he was being pretty hard on the public, you know, saying that it's our duty to report to Gardaí any suspicious behaviours and activities that we might see in order for the Gardaí to be more efficient in their duties. And at the same time, those of us out there who engage in illegal drug use, well, we're to blame. We're the fuel that drives the organised crime gangs. Yeah, we're the fuel to that, not the prohibitionists, not the people who've made it illegal in the first place and effectively gifted the market to them. No, Frank Fahey he's head in the sand when it comes to that's for sure. And Podge getting in on our super chat there as well, saying we are not criminals. Hashtag Cannabis Reform Ireland. Legend Podge, nice one there for that support, but really appreciate it. And certainly agree with you there, man. We are not criminals, that's for sure. We can't say that enough. Unlike what councillor Frank Fahey believes. So if Councillor Frank Fahey was on the Galway Talks radio show with Keith Finnegan. So I have a little clip from that there for you, and I'll hit the play button there on that. So there's Keith Finnegan, the presenter of the show. So you can just hear Frank Fahey himself. I believe this is about like 4 minutes long thereabouts. So bear with me.
Good morning, Keith, and good morning to your listeners.
They did really and truly laugh at you when you said, "Oh, jet ski going up and down the Corrib," and they were quite smart about it. But we've got reports of certain parts of the city, indeed, where now you can order your drugs and they're delivered by drone.
Yes, Keith. Nothing surprises me. And, 10 or 11 years ago, I became aware that there was heroin being given out for free in the parts of the city. And I was laughed at that time as well, Keith. But, it was fact. And I'm not one that runs to the media just to make a story, just for a headline, just for PR for me, as you well know. When I go on the radio with you or to the media, I've got factual information.
Sure,
and in relation to the jet skis, the amount of phone calls, abusive phone calls, I got in the region of 40 abusive phone calls in relation to that. I was even reported to Fine Gael headquarters. I was asked, there was emails sent to the Taoiseach, the Overactor, asking that I be reprimanded and that I was given jet skis a bad name.
Why?
Apparently, I obviously touched a raw nerve because most of the people who were ringing me from Limerick and from Offaly and Tullamore and different parts.
So they were making money out of this.
Obviously, somebody had an interest in it, and I didn't have any. And they were saying not all jet skis. They're on about that jet skis weren't. All jet ski users weren't drug dealers. Now, all pilots aren't drug dealers either. Or, drugs move by every means available. Yeah. And the latest one that you talked about, that where you can order your drugs online or by phone, and they will be delivered. You pay via Revolut, and you can then get them delivered to your destination. And the jet ski will arrive and just drop the drugs beside you. They're prepaid for. And nothing surprises me. We have a fantastic drug squad in Galway City.
Sure,
and they do fantastic work undercover and that. But we, the public, need to be more in keeping them informed of what's happening and reporting anything that we feel or see as being suspicious in relation to drugs.
But it's the only way that
it's our young people.
It is
it's the blight and the destruction of our young people. And drugs are the ruination of our young people, and they do have consequences. In order to feed drug habits, there's crime involved, and there's huge money involved in drugs, and it's criminal activity, and we need as a country to sort of try and endeavour to ensure that the minimal amount of drugs are getting into this country and they're being used. And we, as parents, we need to educate our children and as to the dangers of drugs.
Well, I mean, the situation is the only way that the Gardaí can get on top of this, and you're right, we have an excellent, all you have to do is listen to our news and the press releases that are coming in from the press office in Dublin of the great success that they've had in Galway, just even in the last 24 hours.
But guys, we all know that like when the Gardaí go on and they highlight that they made a seizure in a raid, that it's not a great success. like we've highlighted how it's not a great success, and because again the Gardaí can only ever stop at most 10% of the drugs reaching the streets, so it's just an illusion. It's all smoke and mirrors really there, just to keep the general public under the illusion that, oh, we're winning this war on drugs, and that they're preventing drugs getting to the streets, because look at the rate, the seizure they got there the other day. Sure, there mustn't be any cocaine left in the country or something, that kind of way. So we all know that that's just an illusion that they tried to fool the people with. But they'll repeat it as, oh, it's a success, look at them, they're doing good. But sorry, we'll continue there with that.
In getting drugs, but then where those drugs go, more drugs come in. But unless people report suspicious activity to 538-000 or 999, they're not going to find out. But this whole new drone technology, I know that it was used in other parts of the country, indeed, including Galway, for delivering food and prescriptions and all that type of stuff. But like to go into that technology, the only thing is that the drones in question would have can be tracked, because if the Gardaí get them, they can go back into the memory and they can find out actually where they dropped. So I mean, it's about giving the Gardaí the information that they can work with.
That's right, and there's huge resources involved as well for the Gardaí to sort of, along with all their other policing duties. It's extra work that they have to do, and I'm aware, that drugs get delivered by, and they're tracked by satellite, and that they can actually pick them up where they're delivered by high-speed vehicles, and they're just sort of dumped over walls and fields, and they're then tracked at a future date by satellite navigation, and where there's a tracker on the actual parcel of drugs. So it's an uphill battle for the Gardaí, but they do have huge success, but they do need the public buy-in and people to be more observant when they're out and about and see stuff that's going on under their nose. And a lot of people are very inobservant. And, we need to be the eyes and ears of An Garda Síochána in their duty and the job they're doing. And they do. The drug squad in Galway does a fantastic job. And I praise where praise is due.
But I mean, the situation is that you may say they're unobservant. Perhaps people turn a blind eye because there is a fear. There's even a fear of discussing it on the radio, of the repercussions.
Yes.
There's that fear because these people that are behind this are fairly ruthless people. I mean, we see what happened in Limerick yesterday with the army, and the Special Response Unit and the Gardaí had a major event in Limerick yesterday.
Right.
Like, they're throwing the resources at this, but these people are fairly well above the law. They don't really give a damn.
Well, there's huge money involved, and what most people, ordinary people who don't do drugs, don't realise is that everybody who actually has what we call recreational drug use, like cocaine and cannabis and that, you are fueling by your using of cocaine, and I've had people in my taxi snorting cocaine, Keith. Without even,
really?
People will ask you, can they smoke? Really? People will ask you, can they drink? But I've had people in my car who have snorted cocaine in front of me, in the front seat and the passenger seat beside me. And I can guarantee you that I found drugs more often in my car than I found a 50-euro note.
This is for you, Frank.
That's some statement to make, Frank.
Recreational users are fueling the drug economy. While people may think that they're sort of indulging in cocaine at the weekend, they are actually fueling the underbelly of this economy that is drug-related and criminal activity. So, people who actually use the cocaine and the heroin and the cannabis, they're the end users. They're the people who are fueling it.
This caller said, I commend the councillor on his stand against drugs, but let's not kid ourselves. There is no greater blight on our young people than that of the large-scale consumption of alcohol.
We'll just leave that there, guys, because I believe he probably had enough of that. He was about to say goodbye to him there anyway after he read out that comment by the one of the listeners. But you just hear all of the nonsense there from him. Like, it's just a complete fear-mongering. Trying to scare people first, oh, well, they're using jet skis now coming down the rivers, like, and oh, Jesus, the Gardaí need to be on the rivers. Now they're using drones, so now the Gardaí are going to have to fucking operate the airways, like, they're going to be flying up there trying to take care of the drones or what have you. Stop now, Frank, but will you cop on? In fairness, like, you're as bad as the other Frank. Two stupid heads there, look, the two of them, like, seriously, like, the fear-mongering that goes on there, and like, the guards doing a great job. The guards have been fighting this for like 40 odd years, and drugs are everywhere. They're more available now than what they were 40 years ago. Like, so commend them on that. Well done, guards. Yeah, under your watch, the use of drugs has grown to levels that were never seen in the past before. And it'll continue to be like that, really, in reality, until we take a more sensible approach and treat people who use drugs with a bit of compassion and to really just address the harms caused by drug abuse, rather than to tar every person like Frank did here, who uses an illicit drug, as being a bad person. You're a bad person because you're fueling this. Oh, if you're using cocaine, you must be an irresponsible person because you're supporting the Kinahans. You buy cocaine, oh, you support their industry, you support their business model. Oh yeah, and this is what he believes. But like he'll never turn around and point a finger back at the prohibitionists, people like himself. By supporting the prohibition of drugs, you actually are the backbone of these guys' industry. Without prohibition, illegal drug gangs would not exist, because illegal drugs would be sold by reputable retailers who would want to do good within their community and provide a service for their community, So that's some of the thinking that's out there. Frank Fahey, I'm going to have to try to give him an old call there one of the days and get a few comments from him for the old 420 news. I'll have to start getting a bit more out there. But we drive on there from Frank Fahey's comments, and we go into a headline that is that they just touched off there within that piece, which was Operation Coronation, which was the operation that was carried out there yesterday, the 7th of September in Cork, or it's not in Cork, in Limerick. Above in Limerick, the Gardaí, number of units of the Gardaí, like the Garda dog unit, the air support unit, the armed guards, the organised and serious crime, so like just literally they just threw everything at including the kitchen sink at the bloody thing. And they went up there. There was over 400 personnel involved in this. So quite a lot of people involved in this operation. And what did they get at the end of it, really? All right, they got some statistics. There was, 19 people in total have been arrested. No, that's the updated figure. But this included the army. There was 19 people arrested. Many of them probably very little will happen too. They seized 145,000 in cash. There was 5 designer watches, 3 vehicles, including a BMW, Volkswagen Tiguan, and a Range Rover. There was 10 horses seized, including a stallion worth an estimated €50,000. It says documentation is being seized and is being examined by the Criminal Assets Bureau. Cannabis, herb and cocaine with a combined estimated value of €10,000 was uncovered. A horse box valued at €10,000 was discovered, and 8 financial institution accounts were frozen with approximate value of €421,000. So that's what yesterday's operation resulted in. But when you think about that, you have over 400 guards involved in that, over 400 personnel, and that's made up of both guards and army personnel, because the army were involved in this. They had the defence forces out. Absolutely crazy stuff. There's no photo there of the cops alongside of some of the army vehicles. It's not something you see too regularly here in Ireland, but it did happen in the past, and I'll bring that up with you in a couple of seconds. But there you see many members of the army out there, and they conducted searches of open fields looking for drugs and whatnot inside of there. But it was a serious enough old operation, in fairness. Included there, I've another photo there. I'm just going to try to find it there now for you. It's attached to one of these articles here. But it was one of the no, I'm not able to find it there now, but it was one of the it's like a remote control bloody fucking mobile floor scanner. It was operated by the army, so the thing is going along and it's like scanning with a metal detector. But I'm sure it also has like bunks and x-rays down there, like doing a bit of ground penetration work too, scanning the fields for buried maybe weapons, drugs. I'm not too sure, but it didn't seem too cheap anyway. Like this whole operation that they carried out there, and as I say, it wasn't the first time that the Gardaí carried out this operation. And it was an operation that they were doing in order to target the Keane and Calliope gang. And they're an organised crime gang, kind of a family gang there above in Limerick, and they've been operating there for years. Christy Keane would be known as, I suppose, the head of the gang. And this gang's been operating since the, I don't know, is it the 80s, 90s or something like that? They're around fucking decades, like. And yet still, according to Frank Fahey, our guards are doing so good. But yet, meanwhile, these criminal gangs, so well known, families like almost untouchable out there, and they're able to get away with what they do. And it was only last year, about this time last year. No, sorry, it was about June of last year, just before I started the 420 news, I would imagine. There was an operation very similar to this carried out again. So this wasn't the first time they actually carried out an operation like this. I'll pop it up on screen there now, Fee, and I'll get that off. But this was the headline of yesterday's operation. But here is another one. Guard operation puts Limerick criminals under heavy pressure. And look at the date. This is June 25th, 2020. That's from June of last year. And this again also involved hundreds of Gardaí and army personnel carrying out raids on the same crime gang, the Keane and Callapy gang. This is last year. They seized last year. It was a bit more lucrative for them because they seized over 700,000 and also the deeds to a Dubai property. So there was a bit more cash there for them to be seized, and that was a serious old operation that they carried out as well last year. And what did it amount to? They managed to carry it out again this year. There are also 67 homes and premises searched last year. That was across Limerick, Clare and Tipperary. You look at this year, and how many premises did they say? I believe it's somewhere in the same region, 65. They carried out 2 less searches this year. And it was, where have we gotten with this? Where is the value for the taxpayers in this? There's none, is there? There's not. The prohibition of drugs, it's a complete and utter failure, and the operations like this, they do little to nothing to deter people from engaging in illegal drug use. It doesn't, or from even illegal drug selling, if you want to go down that road. You look in places like Malaysia that I only brought up last week on the news, where people get sentenced to death for being involved in drug trafficking, and guess what? They still traffic drugs. What does that tell you? That criminal sanctions do little to deter people from engaging in illicit drug use and illicit drug selling. And actually the best thing to do in order to remove the organised crime gangs, such as the Keane and Callappies, who are known violent criminals who have, I believe, was it in the 90s, was there 15 people associated with the killed in association with a feud there between the gangs up there. I think it was the Dundons was the other gang that they were feuding with at the time. But it's a complete waste of time. Sorry, lost the point I was going to make there on that, but you know what I'm saying, we see this operation time and time again. You think it's going to be doing good, but it's just done no good. If we really want, yes, that was the point that I wanted to make. If we wanted to remove these organised crime gangs, we regulate the supply of the drugs, and in doing so, we not only remove the crime gangs out of it, but we protect the consumers, and we can protect the young people. The young people who are vulnerable to be recruited by the organised crime gangs or to get involved with drug abuse. And we can help those people by being able to identify them more easily, because they'll be it's more easy to identify them when they're not hiding down the alleys, when they're not hiding in their gaff, with their friends playing poker, smoking a few joints, rather than being able to go down to the local cannabis consumption room, cafe, call it what you will, and meet with like-minded people. We don't have the same freedom to go out there and socialise, so it's easier for us to get lost, to get forgotten about, and to fall into a potential life of drug abuse, as illicit drug users. So regulation is the way forward. These drug raids, this operation, it does little to nothing. A bit of showcase and a bit of, muscle thrown there, muscle flexing by the authorities, if anything, but little to nothing. It's changed nothing at all. Because as I say, last year, they carried out the very same thing, targeting the very same people. There was a similar number of people actually arrested as well last year. As I saying it in this article, I believe there was 14 or 15 people arrested there last year. Yeah, there it was. Gardaí arrest 14. So this was last year. As well, there you go, June 17th, 2020. So that was last year. 67 searches, the same story. So 14 people arrested last year. You have 19 people arrested this year. What are we getting out of it? Like, what are we as taxpayers? Where's the value in that? I see none. Drugs are everywhere still. And I know many of you are out there. Yeah, Podge, we need to end prohibition. Dead right, man. Zappa Score, my mate works in a local pub and he regularly sees them burning through the drugs while off duty. Yeah, well, there you go. Like that's a common theme that I'm hearing out there. People working within the pub scene and stuff like that who would know or who would know even members of the Garda Force, and when they go out for a few drinks, they're partial to engage in the old sniffing of the old what would you call it? The old snowflake, snow. I couldn't think of any fucking, what was the name? Yeah. Anyhow. But it's just backwards. Hype, tactical sports soon burn through the cocaine. Yeah. Susan Wiles, has anyone seen documentary about Castle, Dublin burning the drugs they seize in the castle? Your maid and its ex-detective told me that facts they're the criminals, and if guards goes against big boys in Castle, they're gone. Adam O'Brien's out there as well. We need drug dealers anonymous. Just on my sharing to 3 arty groups. Nice one, Mark. Good stuff. Zappa Score, making something illegal has never stopped people doing it. Look at the USA where the punishment is 99 years and people murder each other left, right and centre. There you go, that's just so true. But we're not here arguing for murder to be legalised. No, because there's actual victims to that. So yeah, man, lock those guys up and throw away the key. But criminalise people for something that there is no victim to, it makes no sense. It just does not, especially when, you're criminalising them for something that they do that might be harmful for them if they abuse it. But if you criminalise them, that will be harmful to them. It will have repercussions for their life later on, in terms of getting jobs and all of that stuff. Like if I smoke a bit of cannabis and now, it's probably not going to do anything to me detrimental, unless I get caught with it. Daily Talker, I want to see more smoke ups, no leaders, no organisations, only stoners. Who wants a better quality of life for all? Yes, Daily Talker, I'm with you there, man. I hope to see more. I know the major smoke up crew are announcing something very soon. I seen it up in their Instagram there earlier on today. So fingers crossed they'll have confirmed a date there before the end of the show. I will check back in with their Instagram and stuff like that. I believe they'll update it there. And we'll see what happens. But fingers crossed anyway, it'll be something for us all to get together again soon above there in Dublin. But again, there's nothing stopping the rest of us from getting something organised in our own areas. And if people do get stuff organised, keep me in the loop. Let me know and I'll get the word out there for you as well. And I'll do my best effort as well to attend and support. Hype says, policeman / cokehead from my town got caught robbing a bank to fund his lifestyle. Shot himself outside his parents' house when his partner came to arrest him. No way. That's a crazy story. Threatened my cousin's relative who was a cleaner. Fuck, that sounds nuts, man. But it's like, that's the reality of it in essence, Zappa Score, possession of drugs is the most victimless crime known to man. Yeah, definitely. In other news above there in Dublin, I suppose, and in relation to this one too, the seizures, the Criminal Assets Bureau on Monday evening, they made a number of seizures in motor premises, I suppose, above there in Dublin. They seized 7 vehicles, and again, there was no indication that this was in relation to drug dealing or anything, but this is a common way in which criminal gangs will launder money they'll set up. Oh, there's the photo actually that I was looking for a while ago. I found it now. Boom, we'll get it up on screen there just so you can see what it was on about there. That drugs or that X-ray thing that the cops had above there in Limerick, looking through the fields. But yeah, as I was saying there in Dublin, they made the seizures. They seized a number of vehicles, and for me, the suspicion is that these vehicles were bought with the proceeds of money that came from drug dealing. And as I was saying, there's a common theme there where criminals will use motor kind of places like this that sell vehicles as a means to disguise, their ill-gotten gains. And the seizures include like a nice Tesla there, in fairness, like she's a fine old motor. But the total value was €270,000. Again, showing the potential, the amount of money that's being made out there by the organised crime gangs. And it's not because of us who buy the drugs from them, it's because of the prohibitionists who allow them to do it. And that's my whole point of just sharing that one with you. Again, just to highlight how prohibition enables these organised crime gangs to make so much money that they're able to set up these like motor businesses or maybe invest in them in some way. And we were warned about that actually when I was going about setting up the super fungi business. Is that if people come by and want to invest in your business, make sure that the money is traceable, that it's just not coming from anybody that you wouldn't really trust. Because the Criminal Assets Bureau do look into these kind of things, and Revenue look into these kind of things as well. So we were warned about that this is kind of a known thing, that there's a lot of money out there that needs to, that people need to clean, I suppose, in certain regards, so that they're able to invest into a business, they get the money back out of the business, and then the money is kind of cleaned and there afterwards, in that look at how we earned it by investing in the business. So yeah, that was a warning that we actually got when we were setting up that business. That was funny enough one. That was an interesting conversation with that solicitor that day. But we drive on from there, guys, because the revenue officers have also seized another €145,000 worth of illegal drugs disguised as toys and personal protective equipment. And interestingly enough, with this story, that these seizures, these have come from America, Canada, Spain, Portugal, and Kenya. So an array of places, and not all. I think there was more places there actually. Just have a look. Switzerland was included in there as well, actually. The UK too, and Netherlands. So a number of origins for many of these packages. In total, there was 15 kilos of illegal drugs. Including in this was herbal cannabis, cannabis oil, butane honey oil, cat, amphetamine, methamphetamine, as well as zopiclone, there are tablets, benzodiazepine tablets, and 9,600 canisters of nitrous oxide. So a significant old seizure to be made, I suppose, really. But if in anything, like, this is just showing you how inefficient prohibition is. These drugs were like, all right, that they managed to intercept this lot, but while they were busy taking this lot off the line, how many packages actually went through that had drugs in them that were not detected? Many, because again, this is only maybe about a reflection of at most 10% of the illegal drugs that are coming through the mail service. At most, I would imagine. I would say maybe even that could be potentially 1%, that gets detected. So a tiny amount that they actually seize. And again, you look at the opportunity there to regulate this product. You don't know where it's coming from. You don't know who it's associated with. You don't know if there's any slave trade going on there with the growing of the cannabis, let's say, at some of the origin points. You just don't know. Consumers aren't getting the proper protection that should be afforded to them by buying these products, and that all needs to change. If we can do it, we can do it by regulating these products. Get some ishka. I laugh aloud, ping him next time for the crack. Pod 85 said there should only be one joint community. Yes. Zappa score 94. Customs have really upped their game in the last 9 months. they're not even up in their game. It's just the increase in the amount of illegal drugs coming through the mail has just skyrocketed in the last 9 months. I would argue in the last 18 months. Since we went into this lockdown, more and more people now are relying on the postman to deliver their drugs to them. Do you know, so, and I would imagine that the revenue are only in reality stopping about 1% of the drugs. 99% of the drugs reach their origin. And you know that's how effective this prohibition is. Oh, it's just like going down to the ocean with a net and trying to catch water for yourself. uh, Daily Talker says, I think in every major community that there should be a weekly smoke up. That way there's no organising to do. You simply show up and smoke once every week or however often you can. Yeah, I would agree with you there, Daily Talker, as well. Just a rolling events, you know, pardon the pun, but just every week at the same time, same place, we're going to meet up, we're going to stand under this banner, and we're going to consume our cannabis in defiance of the law, together, power in numbers, in a protest, you know, because we have a right to protest. We shouldn't have that right taken away from us, especially when nobody is in danger by us engaging in that protest, except maybe potentially ourselves, and that's mainly the danger posed to us is from prohibition more than anything. Jessica Egan says, saw a post yesterday of a girl ended up with an 8 of spice. She didn't know what it was, but her partner knew it. Imagine a younger consumer getting their hands on that crap. It's happening, Jessica. There's young people getting their hands on that crap more often than we would notice. I would imagine a lot of the hospitalizations in relation to cannabis, for young people with cannabis, especially some of the edible stuff that's happening as of late, I would imagine a lot of that is to do with these synthetic cannabinoids. What's your fudge? Oh, Mr. Postman, bring me a treat. Something really tasty like good old kush weed in the rhyme of a song. Oh, Mr. Postman, bring me a treat. Something really tasty like old kush weed. Is that what you were looking for, Monsieur? Somebody remix that there for me later, will you? Irish Candyman, Podge 85 wasn't serious. Why would you shoot anyone in the leg? Podge is asking you. Jamie Power, legend man, nice one for the owl support there in the show. He says, keep it lit and happy birthday, by the way. Much appreciated there, and appreciate the little cake emoji there as well. I made my wish the other day, hopefully it comes true. Right, the next headline I have for you guys, let's leave Ireland behind for just a little bit, and we head over to the UK, where the UK have tweeted about them enjoying breaking into cannabis grow. Yeah, that was a part of a tweet that recently went out by the Sandwell Police Partnerships. So this is a police station, I suppose, or district, whatever it is, they're over in the UK. And they say that another 65 cannabis plants off the street following a successful warrant in Cradley Heat. The plants have been seized and destroyed, and the plants were found behind a false wall in a factory unit, which our officers enjoyed breaking into. Like, literally, we enjoyed breaking into it. Like are you supposed to be enjoying your job in doing this? Like, is this supposed to be enjoyable for you going in there, like, kicking down walls, like taking away cannabis plants? Like, you know, in another couple of years, are you going to be upset that you can't do this anymore when this is legal? Like, what does that say about the police officers involved in this, that they actually enjoy these operations, that they're not sick and tired of them? Another cannabis grow, I'm sick and tired of this. Like, when's this going to end? When's this going to be legalized? When's it going to be regulated? Or when are we going to win and people are going to stop doing this? Because obviously they're never really going to think that latter thought, and possibly then they might not really think the former thought either. But to think that they're actually enjoying this, imagine if a cop came into your gaff, raided your home, like you and sitting there with your family. Just imagine, let's say you're a dad who smokes cannabis, much like myself, and some idiot out there in the community turns around and says to the cops, "Oh, this fella's selling weed up there," like, and they go up and raid your gaff, and the cops enjoy coming in, terrorizing you and your home with your family, with your kids. What kind of a sick individuals are we hiring in our police force if this is what they're doing? Like, they're actually enjoying this terrorizing of people whose crime is they're growing a plant. Nah, sorry, like, come on, that's just messed up, like. So, like, I just thought that was a bit fucking very distasteful for them to tweet that they enjoy breaking into this place, you know, enjoy ruining some poor young fella's life. Podge85 saying that there's only 18 likes on YouTube. Come on, all. Hit that like button if you want Prohibition to end. Oh, Podge, I wish it was that easy to make Prohibition to end. I would hit the like button on everybody's video out there who argues for this. And I know there is many people out there as well. But definitely, guys, share it around. Help magnify this voice and this message for cannabis prohibition to end. I might have some little residual effect. But no, the real way, if you want to have an effect, guys, this next upcoming protest that's going to be announced for Cannabis Reform Ireland, get there, be there. That's what you need to do if you want prohibition to end. But also hit like if you're enjoying the show. But yeah, tell him, Podge. Shay C says they have to be sick to join that organization. Yeah, you know, it's interesting, all right, you know, what it takes to be a cop. I actually, when I was a young person, before I ever knew anything about drugs and cannabis and stuff, I wanted to be a cop. Like, when I was like 9, 10, growing up, like, I was like, yeah, I want to be a police officer. I want to go out there and, like, go out and get the bag. I want to be a guard. You know, that's kind of what I thought. And I didn't think anything of it. I also, at the same time, thought I wanted to be a fireman. You know, all of them at the same time. I wanted to go out there and help people. Is basically what I was kind of my ambition was. And these were the different ways in which I seen it. Now, keep in mind, before that, I probably wanted to be a Power Ranger. Also, with the ambition of helping people in mind. And guess which colour Power Ranger I would have been? Yes, the green one. No, to be honest, it was always the black one. Actually, was my favorite Power Ranger. Yeah, about that. And then they introduced the white one afterwards, wasn't it? The white one came along a little bit later on, and then he was my favorite. And geez, that sounds incredibly racist. Now that I think about it, well, anyway, let's not get too off the track of the news there. Anyway, on all these tangents. Daily Talk, or anybody any idea how to get these rolling events rolling? Yes, I think it should be done city by city, and once initiated, should repeat weekly. Just not sure how we would start it off. We kind of have started it off, Daily Talker, but not just in the weekly sense. So we held one in Cork, we held one in Dublin, we've held one in Kerry. So we were doing it kind of going county by county almost there for a little bit. And we just ran out of people willing to hold events in their places. I suppose we had an event down in Waterford too. We'll throw that one on the map as well, as there was a little bit of civil disobedience involved in that, in the parking lot of a Garda station. Yes, great day that was. But yeah, it's just a matter of having some core members in each area, just just dedicated to getting the events going. And just having the balls, but people having the balls, and no offense there to the ladies, to get out and stand up and protest, together, and not be afraid of being targeted. And I suppose that's easier in a bigger city, like Cork, Dublin, and Galway, and things like that, and maybe in smaller towns, kind of like we learned in Kerry. That the cops show up in Killarney. That the cops showed up there, and that they weren't as nice at first to the locals. But then they seen a few kind of other people coming over, giving them a bit of guff, and it seems like they might have backed off then because they didn't know all these other people from outside of the area, So that is kind of an issue. Locals do get targeted by the cops, in certain sense, especially if they've been known to them. Monthly would be best, says Podge. Yeah, monthly is good. Good aim, definitely. Once a month would be a good start, that's for sure. And then increasing it to maybe bi-week or bi-monthly, once every 2 weeks kind of thing. Like, no, sorry, bi-weekly. Yeah, bi-weekly. and not a Garda to be seen. Cannabis Reform Ireland. uh, no, I put Rangers to pass. Uh, John, what are you trying to say, John? Time to make it a weekly thing in every major park, etc. Daily Talker, I love your passion, man. I really do. I would hope that there's more people out there like you, and I hope there's people in your own area that you can link up with, that you can facilitate that with, and keep me in the loop, man. If you have a park in your area and you want to get something going, get in touch. I'm sure Irish Hemp Harvest is out there as well. Irish Hemp Harvest is after making some killer graphics for the posters that we've put out before. And he's more than happy to help out anybody else who wants to get something designed to promote a gathering, a little public protest. So do keep me in the loop if you want to organise something in your area. If you've got a location, a date, a time in mind, get all the details to me, and we'll get something organised. That day in Dungarvan was a very good and positive day. It was great to see the local support. It was indeed, John. I definitely agree with you there. I was incredibly moved by the support that came out there that day, and some of the stories as well behind the customers of Relief. The story, if you're not aware of the story, Relief 10 Raids. It's a CBD cafe here in Dungarvan in Ireland. And we went out in protest of the last raid where the owner was held overnight in the Garda station. And in the community then, in the town, the community came out in support of the store. And many people were in the community then who used the products, some of them for their kids who have autism, and were talking about the benefits that they experienced from the products sold through his store, and those products now being taken away. It was shameful, but it was incredibly moving as well, and motivating. Podgy 5, yeah, monthly definitely the way to go. And I would agree with Daily Talker. I would agree monthly is easier to start off, but weekly is kind of where it's at. We need to have these weekly gatherings of, like-minded people, just an opportunity for us to even just socialise and protest at the same time. It's incredibly needed, guys. Like we just the damage being done to our mental health as a community by keeping us divided like this. We're not going to really know the gravity of it, that the effects of that, until many years after the prohibition is removed. Like we see it now. Like we're all getting to meet one another here online and stuff, and we can see how that's improving our lives and improving our outlooks and even our view of ourselves. Again, improving our own mental health. Just by having this online community. Imagine in a couple of years when we can actually all just mingle, as I say, have that local, like you have a local pub where you can go and meet the local people at the pub and have a chat and have a pint and whatever. You could have the same for people who consume cannabis. You go down to the local, there's somebody else down there who consumes cannabis within your local community, and you just kick back and have a chat, have a smoke, drink some tea, play some darts, whatever. Why are we being robbed of that, Garda Larkin, feck off with your parking. Yes, love that. That was one of the quotes there on the day. Right, let's drive on and sticking with the UK, guys. The Surrey Police have found a massive cannabis farm growing out in the open in Woking. I hope that's how it's pronounced. Woking? Heard all the people there are pretty woke. But these are the plants that were seized, and they look beautiful in fairness. Like, I'm just going to make this picture just a little bit bigger there, just because like that's, oh man, that's beautiful. In fairness, like, look at that little plant there to the front right, and then like that's a lovely cannabis plant. Whoever was doing that there out in the wild, fair play to you, because that looks like a very nice cannabis plant that has a nice top cola there on it. I would imagine that smells quite lovely, and that's possibly how the cops were able to find this. Very nice. Well done to whoever done this anyway. Fair play to you. Shame on the cops for taking it away and destroying a beautiful piece of nature. There was other photos there attached to this too. This is another photo there of it. That not so nice of a photo. I much prefer that other one. But yeah, they found like over 200 cannabis plants growing in the wild. And this is after a member of the public tipped off the cops there in Surrey. And the plants have since been removed, and investigations are ongoing. The police are reaching out to the public, asking for anybody who might have any information, no matter how insignificant they might think it be, to get in touch. Shame, man. Like, thankfully, no arrests have been made or anything. But if you're out there, if this was you, like if you're out there in walking, and you happen to see this, if you happen to see this and you know who that person was, let them know. I'd love to have a chat with you, because that's some tremendous work. I'd love to know what was involved to get the plants to such a beautiful state in the UK wild. Because if you could do like. That's what you can do outdoors. Like, you look at that plant there front and centre now, but you're only seeing a top cola. But like, if you can do that in the British sun, you can do that in the Irish sun. And if you can grow plants like that out there in the Irish summer, why would you need to be growing under these incredibly damaging to the environment in terms of the electricity that they use? Bulbs, like the HPS bulbs, like they consume an awful lot of electricity. You wouldn't. You would grow it outdoors. You would grow lovely plants like this, and it would have very little effect on the environment. And in fact, it would be probably beneficial to the environment, because you probably tried to grow organically. You'd be probably trying to use organic amendments and stuff like that, and adding to the organic content of the soil, which would be incredibly beneficial, wouldn't it? But no, shamefully, most of us as people who grow cannabis were forced to do it indoors, and therefore consume an awful lot of electricity in doing so. When we look out, all right, we're going into September now, but even the last few days there, it's been absolutely beautiful. If we were able to grow throughout our summer here, we could have jars and jars stocked up, ready to go for the long winters ahead. So well done to whoever was involved in this anyway. Sorry to see the plants go. And we drive on in the next headline. A positive one. Yes, DB Woodcraft, if you're out there, dude, this one is for you. Cannabis legalization doesn't lead to increased use, and that's according to a study by the American Medical Association. Very positive finding, and a pretty prestigious group, I suppose. It's not too easy to dismiss stuff coming out from the American Medical Association, unless it's a study about fat. Then I don't really agree with them there, but we won't get into that stuff. But the American Medical Association have done a study which found that cannabis use does not increase after states enact cannabis legalization for medical or recreational use. And researchers concluded that in a study they published in a prominent scientific journal on Tuesday, the policy change instead has an overall impact on adolescent cannabis consumption that is statistically indistinguishable from zero. And in fact, it seems that establishing certain regulated cannabis models actually leads to lower cannabis use among adolescents under certain measures, a finding that directly conflicts with anti-legalization arguments that are commonly made by prohibitionists. Yes, prohibitionists such as fucking Mary Cannon with her latest tweet there. I don't know if people seen that. John, she was trying to put out a tweet that that there is no safe level of cannabis use, but actually when you read into the study that she tweeted, it was like, no, it was like there's no safe level of illegal cannabis use. If you're going to use cannabis, use legal cannabis, and then at least you can reduce the harms to yourself. Because when you buy something from a non-regulated source, there is no safe level of that to be, and that much is true. But she wasn't saying that. She was saying it about cannabis rather than an unregulated product. There's a big difference there. Like this bottle of water I have here, if I was to go outside and buy this off of a guy out in the street corner, an unregulated product, like would you say then that has the same danger associated to the same product bought in a shop? Like, no, this is going to have far more dangers because it's unregulated. It mightn't even be water, and if I've no means to test it, to check it out as if it is water, then I'm incredibly in harm's way, especially when I go out to take a swig off it. But if I got protections, if I get a label on my product, oh look, there's a label there, it tells me what's on it, tells me the calcium content and all of this kind of stuff. Oh, I'm protected as a consumer. I can trust this because it's coming from a regulated source. I can see that they've got European stamps of approval here and stuff like that on it. So it's got all of that kind of stuff that the consumers want. As a cannabis consumer currently, you have none of this. So that's exactly what we're doing. It's just like, and we've no choice in the matter. I wouldn't buy water off a guy on the street corner. And if water was prohibited in the morning, then maybe I might have to. The analysis published by the Journal of American Medical Association analysed federal youth risk behaviour survey data from 93 to 2019. In 10 medical or adult use states, it builds upon existing studies on the impacts of cannabis reform on youth consumption that have reached similar conclusions. So this isn't the first time a study has reached this conclusion either. It says that other studies have found that cannabis use actually had a 7% decrease in the frequency of use for young people. And at the there was also an increase at the rate or the increase at the age of first use of cannabis too. So again, there is a lot of positive findings out there to support that regulation is a much more effective way to protect young people, to reduce the harms posed by drugs, and to also disempower organised crime gangs. So happy days. Nice to see some positive news there coming across the news desk for a change. And we'll stick with America for the positive news for now. And as I said, there is positive news, but also be a little bit depressing too at the same time. Oregon Psilocybin panel have teamed up with Harvard to research the psychedelic history and impacts of reform in an effort to pave the way for the regulation of the sale, I suppose, or the use of psilocybin in therapeutic settings. This is because Oregon, yes, they voted in favour of decriminalising and legalising therapeutic use of psilocybin mushrooms. It hasn't come into an effect yet. They still have to draw up the regulations as to how the therapies and all that are going to come about. But this is just part and parcel of it now. They have done what was termed as like a fast research, but now this is going to be an more in-depth research that could take maybe around 3 months to carry out. After that, then the findings are going to be put back to the state legislators or the regulators, policymakers, call them what you will. And then hopefully within 6 months of that, they should be able to put together a bill that will support, that will take into consideration the impacts that the reform is going to have, and put in place like regulations that protect consumers the best. So that'll be an interesting one to see what happens. Positive news. Pictured there actually is an old bag that I picked last year. Yes, that was a great old day out. That was another bag. Those were two different bags. Those were two good findings that time. But that this was out in the field where we went. Hopefully the location isn't given away. There might be a few of you out there, if you're a native to Cork, you might identify the trees in the background. But hopefully nobody knows my spot. Let's go out there and pay it a visit now soon. Hopefully there'll be a nice drop of rain there over the next few days, and it'll encourage a bit of popping up. But I still have a nice, about 4 grams left from last year's harvest. Been microdosing now with these for close to a year now. Consistently enough, I would take breaks. I've taken sometimes weeks at a time where I mightn't take it, and then I would go back again doing maybe 3-day cycles, 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off. And yeah, I'd always see definitely a benefit there to the microdosing of them. But I always will say that the real benefits in the macrodose. Yes. So fingers crossed for positive findings in that, and for more changes of these laws around access to psilocybin mushrooms around the world, because I certainly am a big believer that these have incredible therapeutic potential there for people with a myriad of mental health problems. Even just the studies there supporting the use of these substances for people with addictions, it's incredibly strong. And I would love to be able to see more of that, a furthering of that field of work out there. Um, I suppose if I wasn't so invested into the cannabis side of things, then maybe I would been gone down that road, maybe gone down into the road into psychedelic studies. Not psychedelic studies, what is it? A psychiatrist, is that the word? Or a psychologist, whichever is the one that works with the substances, anyway, who gives you the old things, or both. Because I do have a tremendous interest there in psychedelics as well. Like they're incredibly interesting. I've the amount of times I've used mushrooms outside of microdosing, and I'm talking about macrodoses, about 5 times, like 5 macrodoses of psilocybin mushrooms, I'd say at most. Truffles, then maybe I've done around the same amount of times, done truffles. And they're not the same as magic mushrooms. Like magic mushrooms have more psilocybin, whereas truffles, I believe, they're more psilocin, a different compound, similar effects, but not as potent as psilocybin, I believe. Yeah, but for me, obviously, and I've always said it, DMT was definitely the one for me, and it was the first one for me as well. I've done DMT before, I done magic mushrooms before I did LSD. And whoa, what a game changer that was. But we won't go on to that. I've talked too many times, Sarah, before. It would be like fucking on Joe Rogan's podcast now, just talking about DMT all the time. Alan O'Shea, what's going on? Alan says, Big Pharma want to take CBD and THC out of the plant, where the plant should not be touched. Boycott Big Pharma, buy those. Buy from those who have a license to grow it and extract, and said oil, RSO, others well known as Phoenix Tears. It kills cancer. Why don't those who need it? Shame on them. I was only talking to a chap, grower. He assured I lived there, offered me plants for nothing. He actually gives them to those who can collect them. That's so kind of him. We always lag behind when anything medically is let out, as it was kept from everyone by Big Pharma. Well, that's my opinion, as well as many others. Yeah, well, you got your point out there anyway, Alan. That's for sure, man. And I wouldn't disagree with a lot of what you said, but I definitely think that the reason why it's remaining illegal is because the people haven't really fought for it as effectively as we should have. We didn't realize what was being taken away from us when it was being taken away. Then we were so many years in existing with this prohibition that we were just conditioned to it. And then any protests that happened from our community, like they were just very small. They were once a year kind of a thing. And we would all go back into our hiding holes again for the year, and we wouldn't come back out again until the year after again. And it wasn't until the whole thing around medical cannabis then became much more prominent. When people like Yvonne Callan came on scene, people like Vera Toomey. Even before them, I suppose you would have that would have worked with us. You would have Mick McCarthy, Michael McCarthy, founder of Mad Pride Ireland. He would have been a supporter of medical cannabis and marched with us again in these annual protests. We should have really kept the pressure on then. But look, I was young then at the time. I didn't realise the importance of what it was. I was there because I was criminalised for cannabis use. It wasn't until a couple of years later that we started to really learn as to the importance of the need for change. Had we maybe known it at the time, maybe we might have fought a bit harder and been a bit more consistent with the events and the forming of our community, Right, let's open on it up the 420 hotline, the Martin's World hotline. There's the old number, guys. If anybody wants to give me an old holla, I'm just going to connect myself up to the old Bluetooth there now. Give me a second. Boom, there we go. Connected up to that now. Pod 85, yeah, unfortunately I need to get some lip caps soon. My mood is very off at the moment, I have found, unfortunately. Yeah, well, Pod, you've been fucking lacking some serious sleep, man. Sleep is an essential nutrient, dude. hopefully with a consistent supply of herb very soon, and maybe some macro doses of psychedelics as well. Might be incredibly beneficial for your body. Fingers crossed. Hopefully, anyway. Tinkle tink. Martin is a macro dose fan. Yes. MDMA is Tinkle Tink's favorite. Yeah, I've definitely done MDMA a couple of times as well. Maybe 2 handfuls worth of doses of MDMA, about 10 times I would say, and enjoyed each and every one of them. In fairness, I was always a responsible MDMA user as well. I never mixed my MDMA with alcohol. And I was always a big supporter of that kind of a thing as well. I used to always be trying to educate my buddies. I was like, lads, the alcohol's dehydrating you. You have to drink water to stay hydrated, and you're going to be like the lads used to be drinking fucking a slab of Bud, or not Bud, fucking we were rich if we could afford Bud. It was Dutch Gold. The boys would be necking it down, the Dutch Gold or the Royal Dutch, whichever one. We don't know which one is worse. But they'd be slugging that down while buzzing on yolks. And it's like, lads, you're going to be fucking, like, you're dealing with, like, for me, I was always a big believer that was the big reason for many of them being skagging the next day, where they always felt like, I had a very bad come down and everything, whereas mine was never that bad. I would go around with my box of fags. I'd probably had a sore pair of the lungs the next day, if anything, from all the fags I would smoke. But yeah, a box of fags, box of chewing-gums, and freaking sorted for the night by a job. Happy days. It might have been 15 times, maybe definitely not more than 15 times anyway. I'm thinking that I've done ecstasy and MDMA, Podge, I must do a DMT myself. Maybe we should do an interview like that. A few of us take it and enjoy the night. Electric Sense says, Podge, that stuff is next level. I was gone to a different plane, opens your mind to new realities. Yeah, for me, literally, I was transported to another place, in inner dimension, and it felt incredibly external to me. Like, I just compare it to being in a roller coaster cart, where you're just being brought along for a ride, but there was always somebody there with me. That's what I felt, and that person was like fucking relaying information to me the whole way throughout the journey. The start of the journey, it was very fractals. The start of the trip, I suppose. And then once I delved into it, like there was definitely a point. I can remember my buddies were sitting down on the chair near me, and I could see like their outlines, their energy, if you get me, with my eyes closed. Like I could still see them. I was still within the room. And then there was a time where that was just gone. They were gone. I was gone. I was just like that was it. I was into some other place, and absolutely crazy stuff. Like Egyptian hieroglyphs and stuff. I can kind of recall books with incredible amounts of writing inside of them, and a sense that I was communicating, having a conversation with somebody as well. I recorded it as well. I'll try to find that recording of my DMT trip. I know it's on a laptop downstairs, but the laptop has since been like it's not really working. But the hard drive is still there, so the memory's in it. So I'll have to try to get that out of there. It was only for my own use at the time, so I could kind of keep it as like a dream journal afterwards. But yeah. Oh, we got a caller. Who do we have? Hello, welcome to Martin's World.
Hello there.
Hello there. Who do we have? I'm on show.
Hello.
Hello.
Who am I talking to?
Oh, you're talking to Martin on Martin's World.
Oh my God! Is this the actual Martin coming from Martin's World?
Yes, the one and only.
Oh my God! I have to say, your show is tremendous.
Thanks very much, pal. I always like the positive feedback.
No, I really love it. Ever since I retired from entertainment, I found like your show really gets me through the day. It's great.
Thanks. You're not Tony the Tiger by any chance, yeah?
About what?
Tony the Tiger. It's great.
Oh, yeah. No. I used to have this little show called, Barney the Dinosaur. Yeah, this is me. I'm Barney.
Oh, hi, Barney.
Yeah, you know, it was like a great tune. Like I used to love singing my little songs like I love you, you will be, all that shit. But
Oh.
then they fired me for my use of marijuana. I hate that word, dude, but I prefer cannabis.
Oh man, I'm glad to hear that you're a big supporter. I always knew you as the big purple dinosaur, but now I'm going to think of you as the big green dinosaur.
Yeah, I know. I was just frustrated, sexually frustrated. That's why I was purple. Big hands, small penis. You know yourself. Well, actually, you don't, because you got kids and they're on the way. Yay!
Yeah. Well, they'll probably be watching the old shows that I used to watch myself.
I do, but come here, listen. Hello to all the Irish people, and make sure you turn up in Dublin for the next major smoke event, okay? Bye-bye!
Excellent. Thanks for the call, Barney. Bye. I love you. Barney the dinosaur, guys. Barney, a supporter of the herb, and Barney was a pedo though. There was many Barneys, Podge. You heard him. He was just sexually frustrated. Okay. He didn't know there was kids there. But yeah, thanks for the call there, Barney. And definitely, guys, listen to Barney's words of advice there. Make sure to show up at the next major smoke up event there in Dublin. It's going to be a march that goes from the Garden of Remembrance to the Dáil Éireann, where our government sit. Going to pop over there to Instagram right now and see if there's any update from the major smoke up crew team. Not seeing anything up there. No. Boom. No updates as of yet, anyway. So I'll pop up on screen there just so you can see what was announced there earlier. This was coming out Dublin's Horsies page. A little something is what's he saying? A little something is in the works, folks. Stay tuned. Tagging major protest and Ireland's major protest. Yes, Dublin protest. Road Garden of Remembrance to Dáil Éireann, aim cannabis reform Ireland. Will you be there? 97% of people saying yes. Date will be confirmed later today. Costa. Let's make the next one bigger.
Stand up for your right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a good old protest. We should definitely be able to make the next one bigger, that's for sure. So yeah, look, there isn't any update as of yet from the major smoke up crew up in their Instagram page, but as soon as it pops up there, I will give it a share around. I'll get it out there to as many people as I can, and yeah, just help spread that message. And I hope each and every one of you out there do the same, and do your best to try to show up as well. Also, gotta say, nice one there. 12 minutes ago, Hype, apologies there. Hype sent in a little donation there, and he says, happy foraging to all the mushroom hunters out there, that is. Yes, nice one for that support there, Hype. Much appreciated, pal. And yes, definitely happy foraging, everybody. Keep the heads down, isn't that right? Heads down looking for the mushrooms. Dan Jackson, the problem with admitting to smoking is it makes you liable to a search under the Misuse of Drugs Act. Yeah, but the problem to being afraid to being searched under the Misuse of Drugs Act is it will just perpetuate the prohibition, and the longer it exists means the longer you're at risk of having your pockets searched, under the Misuse of Drugs Act. So it's imperative now that we all, no longer fear this liability of being searched for standing up for our rights. And we have to stand up for our rights, because if we don't stand up for our rights, then they're going to continue to be trampled all over. And yeah, you say you're not being afraid just makes life tough. Yeah, it certainly does. It definitely does. But you have to always remember some of the most worthwhile things in life are going to be difficult to do. And that definitely is fitting of ending prohibition. It's going to be a difficult thing to do. Yes, it probably is going to bring some unwarranted attention to you, but if enough of us engage in it, then it dilutes that. There shouldn't be as much of a problem. Look, I've been shouting from the rooftops now. I couldn't have been any more louder and more outspoken for my support for this need for change, in the different things that I've done and through the words that I've said, and my actions and actual planting cannabis plants and stuff out there. And the cops, they haven't really hassled me. Touch feckin' wood, like, do you know what I mean? Touch wood many bloody times. Hope I'm not jinxing myself, but they really haven't targeted me for being outspoken on this issue. But maybe there's that fuse is burning, could be reaching the end of it, and it could be a bomb waiting to go off one of the days. But we'll see. The internet cut off there when they said next protest in Dublin is. You're going to have to keep an eye out on the major protest page. They're up there. So that's their page there. Major protest cannabis reform. They're over on Instagram. They'll be announcing the date very soon, hopefully. They haven't announced it yet, so I don't know when the next protest is going to be. But stay tuned. We'll find out very soon, I hope. Dan Jackson, yeah, I love what you do. Can't respect it more. Nice one for that, Dan. Really appreciate it, man. He's saying here that I've already been ripped apart at my door. If I admit it, to it, can't imagine how often it will happen. Yeah, that's it. Like, but look, it happened already without you having to admit to it. Yeah, see that, like, the problem. So even if, like, you think that by not saying something that you're protecting yourself, but the risk is always there. Like that's the problem, and for many people, I suppose, like, maybe, I don't know why the cops might have ripped you apart that day, but there's many people out there who, like yourself, they don't want to say anything either, but maybe they haven't been searched, they haven't experienced that, but you're unlucky, you have. So yeah, I just think that the more of us that speak out, the more of us unite, the harder it'll be for them to target us. That is my belief, and hopefully maybe that's why they're not targeting me as much right now. That they're kind of giving me this bit of breathing room or something. I don't know, because of the support that you guys give me out there. I don't know really. I really don't know. I'm always expecting to see a cop car pull up outside the studio here, as I'm live, and I always am waiting to turn that camera. I'd love to see him roll up at just around the 4:20, like, as the show went live. It'd be interesting. It'd be a funny one. John Finnegan, yes, preach, my brother Martin. Nice and John. Yeah, hopefully I can come to one someday when I don't have the kids, and that's coming in from Dan. Yeah, definitely, Dan. I suppose if it's something that you kind of keep hidden from them, then that's fairly understandable. But if they know you consume cannabis and stuff, people have brought their kids to protests in the past, so don't let that be a deterrent to come out and support at the protest. While it's called the major smoke up, there's a march as part of it, and you don't even have to stay at the smoke up part of it. Just go for the march and for the talking. And again, if the cops even there, like, you could be there just as a supporter of your kids. You want to improve society for your kids when they grow up. You don't want them to be endangered by the organised crime gangs. You don't even have to be there as a consumer. You just have to be there as a citizen who sees the common sense and the argument that we're making for ending this silly prohibition. So yeah, definitely don't be afraid to get out there and support anyway. But yeah, I can totally understand. I know a few people who do hide their cannabis use from their kids and stuff like that. Worried about what their kid might say in school and stuff, and yeah, it's funny enough. All right. One of my kids are kind of educated about it. We have good conversations. They're quite in the know. So yeah, and I've no fear there either. Like, if my kids say anything about cannabis, I've no worries at all, because I know my kids are well looked after, they're well educated, and the information they have in their head is to the benefit of them and the decisions they make going on in life. So that's my decision as a parent to do that, and I stand by it. They're afraid to target Martin Conlon because they don't want to have a martyr. That's possibly true, John. That's possibly true. DB Woodcraft, you missed the good news. You missed the good news, DB, and it was especially for you. I even said it as I opened it, but it was the headline there that cannabis legalization doesn't lead to increased use. And that's a study that was done by the American Medical Association. So that was one of the positive headlines today for you. And also there was this bit of news there that the Oregon Psilocybin panel teams up with Harvard to research psychedelic history and impacts of reform in an effort to inform regulators as to how to regulate the industry once it's legalized next year. So that's some of the positive news that was out there, all right. But not yeah. If you want to go back, check it out later on anyway. Oh, excuse me. Right, we're going to pack up another bowl, and just flicking back through some of the other comments there. Tinkle Tink, was Ronan Keaton on DMT when he wrote "Life is a Roller Coaster"? I don't think so. It wasn't trendy enough for him then. John O'Regan, what's happening, John? We must catch up for a chat again soon. You must be back in court again very soon, yeah? You've got some court dates coming up, I believe, if memory serves correct, from the last time you visited court. Remind me there again, if you wouldn't mind, as to when that might be, if memory serving correct. But John saying, yo Martin, best wishes from Kilkee. I watched the guards getting very physical with a very skinny guy a few hours ago. There has to be a better way to deal with people. Yeah, I would agree with you there. There certainly has. Nice. Stevie Woodcraft says, I'll watch back, busy carving a rooster and a piece or F off fingers. Nice. Serious work being done there, DV. Good stuff, man. Well done. Dan Jackson says, yeah, I don't judge, wish I could, just other issues. Give them no ammunition. Yeah, that's true, man. Definitely no ammunition for them. Even though I give them plenty. The rooster looks savage, DB. Is it up there on Instagram? Is it? We'll have a look. Anybody want to see DB Woodcraft's cock? Sorry. Couldn't resist. Oh, wow. Yeah, I see that there now. I'll X out of this. I'll put it up on screen so everybody can see it. But where is it? There we go. So this is DB Woodcraft, guys. Enjoy. Oh, we go back. We skipped it. Spoiler. Oh, we have another caller calling in. Hello, welcome to Martin's World.
Hello, Martin.
Hey,
who's the Constant Gardener here? How are you?
Constant Gardener, how are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Very good, very good. Thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to call in and first of all say I'm an avid follower of the show, and I really support what you're doing, mate. And I'm a grower of over a decade, and I do it as medicine, not as recreational. It's important for my mental health, and so soldiers like yourself out there are essential, man. And you've I've been in the shadows basically up to now. So since I started following your show, I've joined Percy's Grow Room, and I started to share my grow online, and I haven't looked back since. You know,
excellent.
So I'm joining in with some good sound people on that and on that site, and yeah, man, it's just great to get involved and be part of a community for once, and just come out of the shadows, you know.
Excellent. Glad to hear I was able to help in that kind of a way. What's it been like to be a grower for so long? You growing in Ireland?
Yeah. I'm in the Midlands here in Ireland. Yeah.
What's it been like to be growing in Ireland?
Sorry, say again.
What's it been like to be growing in Ireland? Are you worried at all?
Right. Well, look. I mean, it's for me, it's an essential thing. As I said, it's for mental health. I'm 20 months off alcohol, and I was an alcoholic, I would say, and I had a serious problem. I always smoked, but to be able to put down the bottle and see it for what it is, as something that was harming me, and really embrace cannabis use, that was always there. I was always around it for a long time. I grew up around it. My dad showed me how to roll a joint. That was the first joint I seen, him throwing one together. And it's been around, and of course with hash back in the day, stuff like that. So I was always familiar with cannabis, but to be able to embrace it and stop drinking and come off medication as well, I was using medication, and been able to just rely on cannabis and throw it, I suppose, give myself to it completely, and use it, of course, as part of a tool of recovery. It's been of benefit, and I've seen other friends of mine really turn their lives around from doing the same thing, the fact that you can exercise, you can function, you can go do a physical job and consume cannabis, I could not do that when I was drinking, so it's been a game changer to just be green and sober, I would call it.
Green and sober, yeah, that's it. You look at yourself as being intoxicated when you're using cannabis. If anything, you're more clearer of mind.
Yeah.
I would feel that way myself anyway.
Yeah, I've heard Steve D'Angelo put it really well. He explains the difference from over decades of listening to people of how they use cannabis compared to alcohol. That the guy that comes home that wants to just drink, he is not going to be in that same person as the guy that comes home and wants to use his cannabis, because he's going to have extra play time with his kids. He's going to have more time for his wife. He's probably going to sleep better at night. They're not going to argue. No, if you switch that up to intoxication with alcohol, that can go completely different. Where there's no time for the kids. You fall out with your missus. You're a dick, basically, because your humor is all over the place. I think it's two different outcomes, but there's it's really down to that personal choice, of how you want to be, and it's that Irish mentality that keeps boys drinking, keeps that sort of that mentality is still deeply rooted here, I think, and cannabis use is still in the shadows, so for the minute, of course, I would like to be as open as you are, and you're an inspiration, man, I have to say. But as I say, you've got me out online and connecting in with people, and I love it. It's just nice to be able to share the passion that I have for cannabis, and I intend to smoke for the rest of my days. So it's just good to see that there's like-minded people out there. It was also great to meet you up in Dublin at the Smoke Up event, and I'll just say as well that I brought my 1-year-old and the 4-year-old and my partner, and we were all there, and we had a picnic at the side of where the group was, so we were fairly smoke-free, and we had a great time,
Excellent.
So I'll certainly be there at the next one.
Brilliant, delighted to hear. And can I ask one more question, if you don't mind? What's been your most remembered strain that you've grown? What's
for me, I have to say, standout would be Franco's lemon cheese. Franco Loja was a part of the strain hunters, and he passed away, unfortunately.
Right.
Helping a tribe in Africa to try and create a topical to help with malaria over there, and he ended up getting malaria himself. So it was someone I followed, I idolized, and looked up to, and so the passing of when he passed, it created a seed, and the proceeds went to the Franco Loja Foundation. And so, as it happens, it's a perfect blend of super lemon haze and the UK Exodus cheese. And for me personally, it works with my system, and it is a perfect balance. So I have one of them in veg, and I cannot wait to float her out and try that. But for me, Franco's lemon cheese is a fantastic strain, you know.
Excellent. Yeah, no, and thanks for that. That sounds incredible, and great bit of information there on Franco as well. I used to be a big fan of the strain hunters myself. Really enjoyed their
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
But
All right, right on. Well, listen, I'm going to free up the line, and thanks for taking my call, man.
Thanks very much, Constant, and enjoy. Be safe, huh? And we'll chat again soon. We'll see you in the next event
Right
above in
on, dude.
Dublin. Good luck.
Yeah.
So Constant Gardener, guys, absolutely delighted there with that phone call. It's great to hear from other cannabis growers out there in the community. I wish I could go back to doing a bit of cannabis growing myself, but just having too much of a target there. Thankfully, there's a buddy who does it for me, but I will certainly be recommending that Franco's as a cheap lemon cheese, is it? Or cheese is, I'm sorry, I'll have to listen back there to the name strange. Franco Loja, legend he was, definitely. Rest in peace, Franco. And I think this next bowl there is in honor of Franco. May you rest in peace, buddy. Pods 4420. A lovely lady doctor told me to continue smoking cannabis when I had a serious enough health issue back 7 or 8 years ago. Unfortunately, she doesn't work at the local clinic anymore for some reason. Wonder why that is. Wonder anything to do with the recommendations she's making that might have been actually helping people. That's not good for business. Yes, I see Cassidy is out there as well. He says, shout out to the growers within the community. Yes, shout out to all of them, and fair play for Constant Gardener for flying the flag there today, and for validating what I was only saying there not too long ago, you know, as to the benefits of being able to find a community where you can share your interest, you know, share your skills, and, you know, have like-minded, you know, common interests there, or like-minded people with common interests. That's incredibly beneficial. So delighted there that Constant Gardener come on and just validated that there too. Just looking back there now, because seeing if John O'Regan got any comments about the court case. No update there from John. John might have been paying us a flying visit. Irish Hemp Harvest, I hope you're doing well out there, bud. Must try to catch up with yourself soon there for a chat. Oh yes, there it is. There's John O'Regan's comment actually. John O'Regan says that October 12th, the appeal previous conviction, and November 9th, first hearing of another case, and the circuit court, no date yet. Nice one for that there, John. So October 12th, so next month. Right, so we'll keep an eye out for that once it gets closer to it. Yeah, I just seen it there, John. My bad. Yeah, a lot of respect coming in there as well for Constant Gardener in the comments. So fair play there, Constant Gardener. A lot of love coming in for you. A lot of people saying, you know, Jen Devlin saying it there as well. Fair play for coming out of the shadows at Constant Gardener. It's never an easy thing to do, and you know, fair play. Marshmallow Girl was bored, but she's after coming back. After boring you, Ernan, sorry to hear. We get Alexis up later and we'll play It Takes Two and you can watch our stream of that again. It might be a bit more entertaining for you. Pods 4420, I've read that one, and Cassidy says must give it a pop. Slimmer Slime says you look like Franco Mart. No way, go ahead. Like, what? Franco Roja. I'm gonna need to put that up on screen now. Just Franco Loja. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe it's like, is it the shaved head? Like, you know, it's like, I don't know. I'll pop it up on screen. Like there he is. There's Frank Aloja. And actually, interestingly enough, what pops up there, look, if you look at this strain, that's actually Franco's lemon cheese. I believe that's what Constant Gardner was just telling me about. Let's click into it. Franco's lemon cheese. Just as we were talking about it, I'm actually just going to go for, I'll see if I can get Greenhouse Seeds website actually up. There we go, Shop Netherlands, Greenhouse Seeds. 1 seed, €10. 10 seeds, 65 yo-yos. A little bit of free advertising there for you, Greenhouse Seeds. That was a frosty looking nug, in fairness. Like, ooh, that looks delicious. I've said it here before a few times myself. I really do enjoy my cheese strains. It's been a while now since having one, but this, Constant Gardner was right with the genetics. Super Lemon Haze crossed with Exodus cheese. The effects, very stoned, a long-lasting, slow creeper, medicinally effective in pain therapy, appetite stimulation, and against insomnia. Podge, you taking notes there, Podge? Flowering indoors in 8 weeks with a yield of up to 800 grams per square meter. I love where they get those 800 grams per square meters. It's very good for scrog. And flowering outdoor, it says ready at the end of September in the northern hemisphere with a production of up to 800 grams per plant. Branchy plant with a vine-like growth needs full support. Has some awards there as well. Yeah, there's no other photos. Oh man, I thought they might have had like a fucking bank of photos there for me to go through. That's unfortunate. We go back, we'll have a look at the name, we'll see if we can get anybody else's grow, but just look at fucking weed plant pictures all day, really, wouldn't you? Like, they look so nice, like. Franco's lemon cheese, yeah, it's certainly definitely one for the old canopy growth. Look at those fucking colas, like, oh. Big knuckles, I'd say, like, a nightmare for bud mold, maybe, though, if they're getting that big and fat, like, you know, once you break into them, you're going to maybe to be disappointed. Oh, nothing worse. Seen it happen a few times. This is also Franco's lemon cheese. Now, these colas look a bit more manageable. These look a lot less riskier for that bud rot, like, that you might see in the centre of buds like that. Like, they look a lot denser than this. But anyway, anyway. Oh, that looks so nice, doesn't it? Stop teasing me, Mr. Grant. I'm not teasing you, John. I'm just showing you the possibilities, but get down there, get yourself a little tent if you haven't already got one. Maybe John's keeping us in the dark. John, come on out of the shadows. Admit it. You've got loads growing already. You're pretending to be teased. You're surrounded by jars, aren't you? Nah, just joking, John. No, but seriously, a small tent, lads, like that, and that's the possibilities there. Like, would you just pop it back up? Sorry, I'm not teasing you, John, but like, just pop it back up. Like, imagine if this is like a 1 meter square tent. So it's taking up 1 square meter, a corner of your room, and look at what you're getting out of it. Like, look at those buds. Like, that's serious. You're talking about what are you talking about there? Like about 4 ounces there, maybe 3 ounces. That mightn't even be 1 meter square. Like that could actually be a 60 centimeter square tent. Let's go back. What's it say on the photo? Does it give any information on the photo? No, it doesn't give any information on the photo as to where it was grown or the size of the area. But that doesn't look like a very big tent to me. So, and you're still talking about easy there, like a good 3 to 4 ounces. Happy days. Why would you not do it? Like, why not? You could be all like Constant Gardner, like he's 10 years in the game, 10 years without ever, getting a knock in the door, or anything like that, and he's been able to, just do his thing. But now he's finding his community, and hopefully more of you will engage in his pastime, in his hobby, and will feed into it, over there on Percy's Grow Room. Great old community of growers over there. And even people, just contemplating growing. Why not, guys? Honestly, why not? Like, there's so many of us out there. The guards, like, how long have you gone without your door getting kicked in? If you don't buy a tent and a light from the grow shop, your house isn't any more likely to get kicked in, like, really. Grow shops don't get watched. Just letting you know. I worked in one for quite a while, and I've never seen the guards actually watching the grow shop. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, ZN. ZN, expert grower out there. He says it's a 140 millimeter PC fan in the corner, and so I would go with a 60 by 60. Yeah, that's what put me off as well was the PC fan in the corner. It's like no serious grow space would have a PC fan, and a 140 centimeter or 140 millimeter one, like yeah, like that's the smallest you would be going with inside a tent that size. But yeah, it definitely looks like, yeah, 2 foot by 2 foot pods, yeah, 60 by 60. And look what they done in it. Like, that's a serious old result to be getting there. Jen Devlin says, cheese strain helps my pain the most. So thanks for this, CG. Nice, yeah, nice one for that there, CG. Getting the information out there to people like Jen Devlin, who is a patient who suffers with chronic pain as a result of her fibromyalgia. Again, check out the interview I've done with Jen Devlin, guys, in the past, if you're not aware. But yeah, Jen just saying there that the cheese strain is really helpful for her pain. And yeah, that was something I noticed about the cheese strains as well, as they were very sedating. They were very like relaxing. They had a very strong stone to them, as well as a very strong smell. Oh, that's my other phone. We won't put him in the show. We leave him off. We'll ring him back in a while. Um, Zombie Nation, no smell, no tell, no sell. It worked for me 15 years plus. That's it. Now you're on a podcast telling everybody, Zombie Nation, huh? Expert grower, LON, something like that. Yeah, that's it. Like, no smell, no tell, no sell. But at the same time, don't be afraid to, work behind these different things. Be smart. Maybe use the Tor browser if you wanted to cover up your IP and all of this kind of stuff. Have a few fake accounts then, like most people use. Here on the thing, Zombie Nation. I'm assuming that's not your real name, yeah. But yeah, that's it. Like, we need to unite now. Get to know one another as well. Events like what happened over in the UK are great as well. They had a number of events over there. They had Barrowfest was one. They had Planet Earth Expo, and the Paradise Gardens Hydro Show or something like that was another one, is it? So some good stuff going on over there in the UK as well. Like weekend long events going on over there. So we'll have to have some of that over here in Ireland next year, I'd say. John Finnegan, what do you think of those single plant grow tents? I've seen them on the Dublin indoor garden site. Highly recommend it, John. Honestly, I've sold many of those tents to people, and do you know what's happened to them? They come back to buy a bigger one because they're so happy with their new hobby that they just want to grow a few more plants the next time. So what happens then is that 60 by 60 tent becomes their veg tent, and then they come down and they buy a 1.2 meter tent and they start growing, a couple of more plants. Again, all for personal use. It's not that they're getting greedy or anything. It's just that they just would like to have a bit more space because they feel like the plant would appreciate it. I knew one guy who actually got the 1.2 meter tent just to grow one plant in it. He would grow only one plant, and that was it. Yeah. But yeah, 60 by 60, highly recommend it to start off, and you can't go wrong, especially with the likes of the LEDs now and stuff like that out there. Heat isn't as much of an issue. That used to be a bit of a problem before with the 60 by 60 tents, is that you weren't able to put like a strong enough light in it. It was like you were maxed out at 250 watts. But now you could get the LEDs in there. They produce a bit of heat, but not as much as the HPS, the metal halides. So you could up the wattage in there, again increasing the efficiency of the space. So 60 by 60, a little LED light for yourself, fan, carbon filter, off to the races, by. Tinkle Tink, the writing is on the wall. The unlowering the classification of cannabis in the drug laws back in January 2019. They unlowered the classification. Yeah, that's right. But there was big pushback to that as well. And you see what's happening over there now. Hopefully, the outlaw over there in the UK will be able to do something. He seems they've announced there earlier on today that there's going to be another announcement next week or something like that, outlining on all of the stuff there that he's doing and how people can challenge the law or something like that. But yeah, we'll see what he releases there next week anyway. Hopefully, it'll be something good. Change by Depot. Zombie Nation, forever known as. Another one on the 18th. Nice, good to hear that. Small tent is never enough. Yeah, that's the thing, like, but you have to start there, I suppose, because it can be a bit daunting if it's your first grow and you get the 1.2. Start small and work your way up. Some people will be a bit intimidated by the 1.2. But then once they start growing the one plant inside in the 60 by 60, they're like, oh yeah, I want the 1.2 actually. Zombie Nation says, you need to work out how much you all smoke. I can do about 24 ounces in a 1.2 meter square tent in 90 days, but smoke 2.5 ounces a week. Nice. So 90 days, that is about 12 weeks thereabouts, 13 weeks, is it? More 14 weeks, let's say. So you're coming up short there, Zombie Nation. 2.5 ounces a week, man. You're going through it though, man. You must be smoking like a trooper, or are you doing a lot of extracts, or what's the crack? Fair old consumption you have going there. But good to hear that you're being self-sufficient there, almost. Papa Gummy Bear saying, sorry for the silly question, but is there a difference between Autoflower and feminized seeds? Someone was explaining it to me, but I've seen, but I've a lot on my plate, so I'm still trying to figure it out. So basically, Autoflower is to do with the genetics of the plant and the region in which it grows. So it's thought rudialis originated in the northern latitudes where there is much less light. So therefore, the plants had evolved to a flower automatically, i.e., not be reliant on photoperiod, because the sunlight, it was either some places in the northern regions you could have only a couple of hours, less than 6 hours of daylight. So the plants had to evolve to deal with that. So they evolved to not be reliant on the photoperiod, as in the change in day and night, to produce their seed. So that's kind of how autoflowers originated. Then feminized seeds, then that is something that we as humans have input on the plant through use of things like colloidal silver. And I believe there's other ways in which you can initiate the feminization of seeds. But you would put colloidal silver on the plant at a certain part of flowering once seeding is being initiated. And then the seeds that should come off of that plant should all be female seeds, i.e. none of them should be male plants, which is very beneficial when you're growing a plant for the cannabinoids and terpenes, as the seeding of a plant can be detrimental to the production of cannabinoids and terpenes. So yeah, hopefully that clears the smoke there for you, and that you have a better understanding of that, Papa Bear. But yeah, autoflowering has to do with the genetics of the plant, whereas a feminized seed is something that the human has actually done to the plant in order to have the outcome. And then autoflower plants, then, what we've done is we've crossbred some of these, like, so the autoflower plants, the rudialis, those plants would have been very stickly, not very full of buds, because again, imagine their purpose was just to grow, produce seed. Seed falls, seed grows again, produce more seed. Just the circle of life goes on, life that. So they were never evolved to grow buds and stuff like that to any great extent. So when they crossbred them back then into more better plants, better producing plants, like White Widow, then you've got an autoflower White Widow. You've got a White Widow plant that also will flower automatically. It's not reliant on the photoperiod. So then you can feminize those then as well. So it can get a bit complicated then at that point. But hopefully that clears it up for you there. Let me know any other further questions, Papa Gummy Bear, or anybody else. Fire them on in, guys. I've got about 5 or 10 more minutes there, and we'll have to bounce then. Oops. Hit my mic. Pop-up gummy bear, nice one there for that support as well. I'm not sure why it's not popping up on screen. Should pop up there in a couple of seconds, I'd say. There it goes. Bit of a delayed one there on that. Pop-up bear getting in an old super chat there as well, supporting the show. Much appreciated there, always, guys, for that support. Helping to fight for the legalization of cannabis in Ireland. Gummy bear got a red hand pointing up. That's what was sent in. Much appreciated there, Gummy bear. Zombie Nation says, Podgy 5, Jeeb is coming. Get a minibus sorted. We'll show you what you're all missing. Is Jeeb going over as well on the 18th of September, is it? Over to the UK? Right, we must have a chat with him on that one. I think my calendar is going to be freed up an awful lot there now soon. So we might try to travel over him as well. My THC stream is blood and it's Zombie Nation is saying. You want to sort that out, but what you need that blood for, boy? More THC, please. John Finney and Bollocks. Phone is on 5% and I'm out in the fields foraging. Oh no, hopefully you're having a good old time hunting there anyway. Foraging, hopefully you're foraging for what we've been talking about there, but earlier the old psychedelics. Hype also saying, sure it's okay, sure it's only UK CBD being smoked anyway. Yeah, it's interesting, alright, those events in the UK, like Zombie Nation saying we have no law turning up at our shows. But was I think Simpa had it up there at a video up the other day that there was dogs going to be brought there, and when he arrived the day before that there was cops there, but the cops weren't searching anybody, but they were just there as a matter of, you know, they have to be there, I suppose, at big events like those. But yeah, I don't think anybody got stopped and searched. I'm not hearing anything negative coming from any of these events over in the UK, so happy fucking days. Podge getting in an old super chat there as well with what is a lemon character running, then kneeling on the floor. His ards by him open and a slice of lemon, then appearing behind him. Nice one, Podge. I've to sort it out so that these fucking emojis that you're sticking in there actually pop up on the stream, because I'm not seeing them here. I have to sort that one out. Zombie Nation says next year for product art, Martin's World. Oh, that's when GB is going over, is it? Next year. That's a whole year away. I think we'll be going to Barcelona for the old Cannabis, I'd say, before then. Think my diet is 100% cannabis. Nice, good to hear. Getting your daily greens in there anyway, at least. Right, we've another bowl packed up here. Yes, we will blaze this one on up with you. Zombie Nation saying that we went through about 6 ounces in a weekend, smoked anywhere and everywhere. Yeah, you go through it all right, in fairness. Like, when we sit down playing poker there some nights, we just burn through it, like, you know, pardon the pun, but we do. It just, goes up in smoke really quick, especially when the bong hits are going. Like, when me and the lads are going, we just keep on packing bong hit for bong hit. Like, you hit the bong, so I'd have a hit off of this, and as soon as I'm done hitting it, I'll clean the bowl, I'll pack it up, and I'll just pass it to the next guy. Then the next guy hits it, does the same thing, packs it up, passes it on, and we just keep on doing that. Like, so quite often or not, I've actually gone to poker games where I've never smoked my own weed. I've always been smoking the guys to my right, because we just pack up the bowl and pass it to the next guy. But we end up smoking a tremendous amount of weed as the night would go on, and the dabs as well. We'd be flying through some dabs. Dabs got banned from a few of the games, actually, because they used to mess us up. The game really slowed down when the dabs came out. We'll have to get a few of those smoker poker games streamed. I'll have to get a few of you from the audience in, because the lads that I actually play Smoker Poker with, they're not friendly with the camera. They're not up for it. They don't want me to live stream the game, so I'd love to do it. A live stream Smoker Poker, have the glass table and everything, so all of you out in the audience can see what's going on in the game. You know what's going on, like, you know, like kind of poker stars, but like stoned poker stars. It should be a funny one. Yeah, we'll have to do that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to organise that some night. A couple of cameras, so everybody's cards are seen, and we'll have a proper poker tournament. We'll open it to the audience. I don't know. We'll do like €25 buy-in, guys. We'll try to get at least one table going. We'll see how much interest there is in it. I should be able to secure a free venue for it. But let's see how many people are interested. So if we have 10 people in, €25 a man, that's a €250 prize pool. We say 200 for 200 for the winner, and money back for second and third place. There you go. There's the next gathering. We'll live stream it as well. Private event. We might do some tickets there for people to come in as an audience as well, you know, spectators there as well, maybe. And even if we can get a second table going, then sure, just increases the prize pool and maybe increases the amount of paid places then as well. Podge is in. Didn't have to ask you twice, Podge. Right, I'm going to blaze this one up, guys, and we'll start counting down then for the goodbye. Almost to the second 420. I forgot to give a shout out to the guys over in the Azores and all of those other places. But coming up there in 3 minutes is Cape Verdes. Pod saying couldn't give an F if he won the money, but he'd share it back if he won. Go on, Pod, you legend. Hype saying just a shame there's never any pop-up stores here. Yeah, there never is here, but they're on Instagram. Like, people have their own brand now on Instagram. Like, there's a few people up there, alright. John Finnegan says, I will buy a ticket because I don't gamble and don't have a clue how poker works. Well, John, if you want to buy a ticket, definitely you can come down as a spectator. But if you want to be able to play the game, definitely it'd be advisable to know the rules anyway. Doesn't matter about the money, you know. You just have the prize money there just for the crack, just so that there's like something to win at the end of it or something for the crack. But obviously it's all about the banter, the atmosphere that's going to be there, and the bit of crack there on the poker table as well. DB Woodcraft doesn't have a clue about poker either. Yeah, we definitely want people who know how to play the game of poker anyway. You know, but at the same time, beginner's luck is certainly a real thing in poker, but it's incredibly frustrating. You're sitting at a table and, you know, you're playing away. You're always playing to win, like, you know, but obviously you don't give a care if you win or not, like, but you know, you want to be able to have bragging rights at the end of the game. That's about the thing that you want to win at most. It's like, hey, poker champ. But yeah, you definitely want to kind of know, because it is rather annoying when, like, you're in against winners. Like, I don't know if I won, and he turns over these cards, like, and it's just like, that's the thing all night. Like, I was just calling. I was just calling you. I just wanted to lose, and they just keep on winning. Then, like, you know, they're turning over fucking 4 aces and shit, like straight flushes. DB Woodcraft says snapper was made. What about take two? We do a game of 5 lives and take two. We can have a few different card games going. Dabs and snap. Oh, I love it. It's John Finnegan, side table for DB Woodcraft and people like me. We will play Stop the Bus. Hard Jelly 5 Martinsworth Pork Champ. Mustawa is joining the chat saying, evening all, hope everyone is doing good. All doing good here, just winding down now. About to sign off. Happy 420 there over in Cape Verde, guys. Blaze one up. I just blazed my bowl 2 minutes ago, but sure, feck it, we'll pack another one. Why not? Oh, it's still 420. Can I get this one packed fast enough? Oh, it's 421. Darn it. My boy played online poker, first time ever playing the game, won £2,000. Personally thought he'd been scammed, then it showed up in his bank account. That's coming in from Zombie Nation. I wish I had that kind of beginner's luck. Oh man, I played online poker good, but never lost a lot of money. I'd only ever like put 10, 20 euro on it and enter into the €1 up €2 tournament. So obviously I was winning not neither. But yeah, I've never really extracted money from any poker accounts. I would always lose my 10 or 20 euro, but feck it, I would enjoy it. I had a couple of hours of enjoyment playing poker. I do enjoy playing poker. All right, it's a good crack. Used to play a game. What was it? Niner. I used to play Niner with my family before. We used to have like aunts and uncles call over to the house, and I used to love getting to play with them. Like we used to play it for like cash. It used to be cash games, but it'd be all small change. It'd be like minimum bet 20 pence or 20 cents. And yeah, it was good crack, good fun. Training the young boy to be an addict, I'd say, or a gambling addict. Thank God it never amounted to that. I was able to manage my my gambling habits. And I used to win a fair bit too. Like I don't know about the family letting me win, but never really wanted to go gambling. Like I never, you know. Martin's talking some weird language. I almost fell asleep. Sorry, John. Sorry, mate. Right, we blaze up this ball I packed, and we will start to say goodbye. Switch. Is that take two? I think switch is take two, is it? Where like you're changing the suits. Switch. I've never heard it called switch, but that's how I would make sense of it when you're changing suits in take two. But I don't know. I have to look that one up now later, Teresa. Yahtzee with cards, sort of. That's coming in from Hype. What's that about Hype? Just yeah, take two. Teresa says, yeah, I was thinking that one. All right. Podge 85 says 21 is a good one too. Like blackjack, Podge, is it 21? Is that what you're on about? Blackjack, like 21s? 21s, yeah, I used to enjoy that. All right, we used to play a fair bit of games like that in primary school. We used to have a good crack playing like 21s. Now take two, good old crack. Take two, champ. All right, Tinkle Tink. I'm not singing any more songs. One song per show. He says you gotta know when to hold them, and you gotta know when to fold them. Civil disobedience, all. Don't panic, it's organic. So right guys, that's it. We have no more callers for this evening. Nice one, Barney, for calling in, and an extra thank you there as well to Constant Gardener. Really enjoy chatting with you, Constant Gardener, and really appreciate you sharing your views and opinions there, and your experience as well. Excuse me. Yeah, Podge used to play them in school too. Educate the youth to gamble. Well, we used to never. We did actually. Jeez, we used to be playing for fucking chocolate bars and stuff like that. Yeah, we used to have a bit of gambling going on. Play a game of cards. What I would do? Bet you my penguin for your cheese string. It's not a fair trade, boy. Give me your yogurt as well. Yeah, John forgot about the sing song along the way. Right, so guys, I'm gonna bounce on. Oh, Zombie Nation says his brother is lucky too. Put a free 5-bet accumulator on a few weeks ago. Every damn result came in £400+. Nice, that is nice. But it's all free bets then, isn't it? As the £400 in free bets, but still happy faking days. Like he only has to hit once more and he can cash out in some of it. Like easier said than done though. Podge's bong's been very quiet the last few days. Sorry to hear that, Podge. If you're up in the city there, man, give me a shout and you can come over and make some noise in my bong. Or you can bring yours and I can give you something nice to put in it to make some noise with it. Yeah. So yeah, guys, it has been a great laugh, and thank you to Mark for tuning in as always. Great to have you in the audience, and to each and every one of the rest of you guys, have a lovely evening. I'll be back on Friday with more 420 news. Until then, guys, stay blazed and keep her lit. Much love. Peace.